What's going on, everybody? John Eric Poli here with My MMA News, and today's guest is the number 13 ranked flyweight contender in the world. I'm speaking to Miranda Maverick, who fights Maycee Barber at UFC Vegas 32 on July 24th. So let's bring Miranda in here, welcome her back to the program. Miranda, how are you doing today, and how are things going now as you finish up fight camp, as there's just a few more sleeps left until fight night?
Doing well, starting my water load right now, and the diet's really strict, so definitely losing weight at a faster pace now and getting ready for the fight.
And now as you talk about your water load there, I have to ask, how many gallons of water are you drinking there? What exactly is this water load?
2 gallons for the next week.
And I can imagine if you're drinking 2 gallons of water, you probably have a pretty set bathroom schedule there as well.
Yeah, it depends. During training, it's a little less just because I'm sweating it out as I'm drinking it. But yeah, throughout the day, I go quite a few times.
Well, God bless you as you drink all that water. I can only imagine what it must be like taking in all that liquid there. And I do want to get now specifically into talking about your training camp a little bit. I did see a few different things on your Instagram. There was some traveling that going on there. Just how exactly was your fight camp? As I know right now you're at the tail end of it. So how did it go for the majority of this camp?
I think it's the best camp I've ever had. Got to go down to Vegas and train, had Deanna Bennett come up and train, Gillian Robertson come up and train. And then training at my own gym has just been phenomenal. Progression in between the fights is always key, and I had plenty of time to do that this time, and it's been the longest I've had to prepare for a fight. So that's helped a lot too, kept my nutrition good, and I think I'll come into this fight in the best shape of my life.
Yeah, I do want to ask you about that PI experience there. Of course, you were out there in Las Vegas with, I believe I saw on Instagram, Andrea Lee was there. She's on the top flyweight contender. Of course, Aspen Ladd and company was out there as well. So what was it like getting to work with those ladies and checking out the UFC PI? Because the PI has been doing a lot of great things for a lot of the UFC athletes.
Yeah, it was really great. I've never actually gotten to experience the benefits of the PI before. So going there with Aspen's team and Andrea as well was really good for me. Got to train with Andrea and Aspen myself, from sparring to grappling, all of it. It was a really good opportunity. I don't get very many chances to go against someone my own size, especially within the same skill level range. So it was really good to get down there, get some good work. And the PI just about killed me. I keep joking about the strength and conditioning. It was probably the hardest week of training I've ever had in my life. I was very sore, very tired, all of it by the time I left.
And now another unique thing about your camp was once you got back to Virginia, you brought in Gillian Robertson. You guys were just working out together. We saw the photos on your Instagram there. What was that experience like? Because you guys literally just fought back in March.
It was good. We got along great. I had her come down, mainly focus on the grappling aspect of things. As I've mentioned, her grappling's very good. She was able to hold me down in the second round of my fight against her. And I wanted to work with her and learn a little bit of my own. I can always improve. And I think that's a big part about getting better between fights, is being able to be humble enough to realize where your weaknesses are. And be confident enough to want to train with those people and figure out what you can do to improve. My ground game is very strong, but the fact that she was able to hold me on the ground meant that I had more to improve on.
And Gillian, of course, has also fought Maycee Barber. That was back a few years ago there, but she, even though she lost that fight, she had a lot of quality minutes inside of the octagon there against Maycee. Was Gillian able to help you out and maybe provide you some helpful information, maybe some hints as to some things that Maycee might be trying to do inside of the cage on fight night?
Not necessarily anything that I couldn't see on my own. We talked a little bit about it, but the main focus was just the grappling aspect of things when she was here. But it's pretty obvious watching Maycee's fight, like what she does. She's a little bit unpredictable because she is young. She can learn in between fights. So I don't ever want to go into the fight assuming that she'll do the same thing as she's done before. But she is a little bit of a wild fighter, and we just train with that in mind. But Gillian was just, she was good to have here as a training partner, not necessarily because she fought Maycee before.
And now the last time we spoke, which was right after your win against Gillian, you were mentioning how you and Maycee kind of both mutually agreed that even though the fans were kind of calling for this fight and want to see you guys square off, that you guys didn't want to, because you guys are both talented young fighters and you kind of had the mindset of why are we going to do this now and fight now when we could be both climbing the ladder, climbing through the rankings, and then we could do this another time when you guys are both towards the top or even have already reached the top of the mountain. So kind of how did you get from that mindset of let's wait until we're towards the top to now we're just going to do this now instead?
Right. It's one of those things like, do you have a choice? That's the real question in the sport. It's like if you don't take the fight, you get told like it might be months until you get another one. And it made sense as far as rankings. Like if that was the only aspect of it, I'd be like, well, yeah, we're close in ranking. Just keep bumping your way up. But that's not all of it. We're two of the youngest fighters, not of the youngest. I guess we are the youngest fighters in the division in the top part of it. And they're having us fight each other when they could have the whole division progressing by having us fight an older woman or someone who's been in the top 10, top 15 for a while. They whine about it being stagnant, and then it's like they continue making it stagnant on purpose. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think me and Maycee should have met when we were number 4 and number 5 or something like that. Give us the room to move up the ladder and then fight each other, because it is a really promotable fight in my opinion. We're both young. We both have aggressive styles, and I think we both put our all into the cage when we come in. And now we're going to kind of, I guess, waste that fandom on a fight that's not as popular as it could be.
So now, like when you say all of that there, do you kind of see this now being, let's just say, I want to say a rivalry, because it's not necessarily going to be bad blood, but maybe more from a competitive standpoint where, you guys are these talented young fighters. A lot of media and a lot of fans have the stock, a lot of stock in you guys, thinking that you guys are the future of the division and future champions. Do you think that this is the beginning now? Like this is the first fight of what might be 2, 3, who knows, 4 fights somewhere down the road?
Right. I'm not surprised at all if we end up meeting down the road. People are saying Maycee's not the future anymore. She'll have 3 losses on her record. I don't think that's the case. She's 23 years old. Like that's earlier than what most girls started in the UFC, and she's had a pretty good stint in the UFC. She's going to come back and make her way to the top, in my opinion, no matter what, and be ranked very soon again. I think we will meet again, whether it's at the very top, whether it's 4 and 5, wherever we end up meeting. But I wouldn't doubt if it ends up being 2, 3 fights we have over time.
And I know that there's a lot of respect between you guys, and you did mention a little bit about her style there. One of the things that I'm looking forward to really seeing about this fight when you guys square off is how you guys are two of who I believe are really the strongest fighters inside of this 125-pound division. So when you see something like Maycee, who's big and strong like yourself, who is wild and unpredictable, what's your mindset going into this fight? Is this a matter of being patient inside of the octagon on fight night?
I think I'm much stronger than her from a perspective just of that. One person may look the same strength as another, but like the farm work and stuff that I grew up with, I don't think there's many that can match it within the female division. Maycee is one of the bigger girls in the flyweight division though, and it looks like she's getting her fitness better than it's ever been from what I see on her social media and stuff, which I'm really excited about. I want to face somebody at their top. I don't want to face them when they're down low. That's just an excuse in my opinion. So I want her to be at the best fitness level she can be, come in here, be muscular, be the bigger flyweight that she is. And I think people are going to see just a very exciting fight as a result of that. We both are very aggressive. I feel like I have a little bit better fight IQ than her. Like when I go into the cage, I'm not going to just run in with King Kong punches. I try to look for my spots, try to have a smart game plan, and I'm very good at adapting that game plan. And I think that will pay off in the long run in this fight.
And now, Miranda, as we close out, I do want to bring up some student athlete stuff here. Of course, you're in school right now, and the reason why I wanted to ask you about this was because a few months ago, back in May, when it was time for the NCAA to finish up their spring sports seasons, all we saw was all these commercials about being student athletes, and that's very important, and I understand why the NCAA does those commercials, but you give a whole new meaning to student athlete, because here you are, you're a professional fighter. We know how dedicated all professional fighters are, just professional athletes in general in that regard, but here you are finishing up, getting your degrees. What can you tell us about school? Like, how's school going? I know you're working throughout the summer now as you try to get your degree.
So right now I'm getting my master's in industrial organizational psychology. at Old Dominion University. It was the PhD, but unfortunately that did not quite work out. Finishing up the thesis though this summer, been working on it off and on all summer, and also working part-time as a contracted statistician for Hershey, which has been a really interesting position to do with my career. My degree is specifically pretty much in people analytics, which people kind of get confused about since it's called IO psychology, but it's kind of the business side of psychology. So that statistics job has been really helpful in that. And then of course, training, getting ready for this fight the entire summer too. So my schedule is definitely busy, training 5 to 6 hours a day, plus the job, plus school, but I make it work.
And I know you're doing some work and some internships, things like that, like you just mentioned. When you finish school, do you plan on still working and doing the whole professional athlete and doing psychology work too, or are you gonna kind of push all of the stuff that you're getting your degree in off to the side for another day when you retire from fighting?
Yeah, it's going to be focus on my fight and still have that part-time job probably.
So now, do you have like a long-term plan then with this? If you do plan on working, even if it is part-time, because I could imagine like you going to your employer and saying, "Hey, I'm not going to be here next week. Next week's my fight, so sorry." Because I can imagine it has to be, What do you mean? You already took off a whole week a couple months ago for a fight. So kind of what's the long-term, I guess, goals here as you try to obviously keep fighting in the UFC, but then trying to work as well?
It's really 100% remote, and I have a very flexible schedule, so I can work at night if I have to. I can work early mornings, whatever it takes, and 15 to 20 hours a week doesn't hinder me too much, especially once I just got done being a full-time student and fighting. Once I take the school load off, plus the stress load that'll take off, I think I'll have a lot more what I consider free time, even though it'll still be busy to others, I guess.
All right, Miranda, appreciate all the time. I know we talked a lot about a lot of different things here today regarding your camp, regarding the fight, of course, all of the work you're doing in school there. Before you roll out, though, social media, management, sponsors, anything that you need to plug, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, please. So fearthemaverick.net is officially out. It's my new website, has my products, which I'll be launching some new ones actually on my fight date. So keep an eye out for that. Go check it out. Shop if you want. Go look at the About Me page. You'll find out a lot of things by looking at the website. It's very clean. I appreciate the designer who I had do it, though he doesn't want mentioned, so I won't. Also, you can go follow me on Instagram. It's fearthemaverick_HOMT, or look up my name on just about any social media, Miranda Maverick. I think I'm the only one. You'll find me on there. Go follow me.
All right, guys, there you have it. That was Miranda Maverick. Of course, a big fight coming up there on July 24th. Really looking forward to seeing that matchup between her and Maycee. And a lot of great matchups, too, on that July 24th card, so make sure you guys check that out. Also, guys, make sure you're checking out MyMMANews. A lot of great content comes out there every day of the week. Make sure you go to our social media accounts, give us a like and a follow. Speaking of social media, please go to my accounts as well. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at John Eric Poli. Give me a follow on there. Also, if you haven't done so yet, why don't you go to the bottom, give me a subscribe. I really appreciate all the subscribers. And this way, when you subscribe, you'll be able to see and be notified whenever I have a interview, so you'll be able to keep up with all of the work that I'm doing here at MyMMANews. We'll see you later, everybody.